There's something that influences fertility more than most women realize. And it's not a hormone, it's not a supplement, and it's not even a specific diagnosis. It's whether your body feels safe enough to prioritize reproduction. And this is where a lot of confusion comes in, because you can be doing everything right and your body still doesn't fully respond the way that you want. In this episode, I'm going to share 4 signs that your body might not feel safe enough to prioritize reproduction. Hi, I'm Batya. I'm a fertility specialist, a Chinese medicine practitioner, and a midwife. And I work with women who are trying to conceive but feel stuck or unsure about what really matters, whether everything looks normal or there's a diagnosis but the path forward isn't clear. And today we're going to talk about the nervous system, but in a very specific way. When people hear that stress affects fertility, it often creates more pressure than clarity, because women start thinking, am I too stressed? Do I need to relax more? Am I maybe making this worse? And that framing isn't helpful, because fertility isn't determined by whether you had a stressful day or not. It's determined by how your body is interpreting its overall environment. Your nervous system is constantly assessing, am I safe? And is now a good time to invest in reproduction? Because from a biological perspective, pregnancy is no small task. It requires stable energy, it requires coordinated hormones, strong circulation, and also immune balance. So if your body perceives instability, even if it's subtle, ongoing instability, it may quietly shift resources away from reproduction, and then you won't be getting pregnant. This is where everything we've talked about actually connects, because we talked about egg quality as a reflection of the environment, and we've talked about blood flow as a delivery system, and we also talked about supplements as support. But here we're going to show how the nervous system influences all of that. The nervous system is the master driver. It affects hormone signaling, it affects digestion and absorption, it reflects sleep and recovery, it reflects inflammation, and it also affects blood flow distribution. So when the nervous system is in an ongoing state of vigilance, everything else becomes less stable, and then your fertility suffers as well. Now in the clinic, it often doesn't look that dramatic. It's not always extreme stress. The devil, as we say, is in the details. So here are 4 signs that your body might not feel safe enough to get pregnant. Sign number 1, you always feel like you're slightly on. Even when nothing is actively wrong, something doesn't feel at ease. So even when you're resting, your body doesn't fully settle. Sign number 2, you have difficulty winding down. At the end of the day, your body doesn't easily shift into rest, even if you're tired, right? That wired and tired kind of feeling. Sign number 3, your sleep is either inconsistent or not fully restorative. So maybe you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Maybe you wake up earlier than your alarm. Or maybe you're getting enough hours of sleep, but your system may not be recovering in the way that it needs to. Sign number 4, you're constantly mentally engaged with this process. You're tracking, you're thinking, you're analyzing, trying to get it right. And your mind is constantly trying to figure this out, even when you want to relax. Trouble shutting your mind off. So from the outside, everything can look functional, but from the inside, your system isn't fully settled. And that affects how your body allocates its resources, which directly affects your fertility. Now, I want you to internalize this. You do not need to be perfectly calm to get pregnant. But your body does need moments where it feels safe enough to shift into repair. And that's different. It's not about eliminating stress. It's about whether your system has enough moments of safety and stability to support reproductive function. If you recognize yourself in some of these, the question becomes, what can actually help your system shift out of vigilance into safety? Here are a few simple ways that you can help your body shift from vigilance and into safety. The first one is consistency. Your nervous system responds to patterns, specifically regularity. And that means consistent sleep timing, right? Always going to bed at the same hour and getting up at the same hour, regular meal times, and predictable rhythms. These signal safety more than any intensity ever will. Recovery. Many women are very good at output, at doing things, but they're not as good at recovery, at resting. And fertility happens in a body that knows how to shift into rest and repair mode, right? We talked about the parasympathetic nervous system and how it's really rest, digest, and reproduce. So we need to look at true downtime, reduced stimulation, and a space where the body isn't being pushed. So you can think about trying to create that space and time for yourself every day. And finally, regulation, not suppression. This is not about calming yourself down. It's about helping your system process activation. And that really depends on you and how your body likes to do that. For some women, that processing is done through stillness, through breath work, through meditation. And for others, it's through movement, walking, rhythmic activity. And sometimes the same woman can appreciate both of these modalities just depending on the situation. The key is finding what actually helps your body settle in this specific situation. So if you're worried that you're too stressed, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not hurting your fertility. Your body is just responding to what it's perceiving. And that means that it can also respond differently when the signals change. So fertility isn't just about doing the right things. It's about whether your body feels safe enough to respond to them. If you want a clear place to start understanding the systems that can influence your fertility, well, I've created a short guide called The 5 Fertility Secrets That Your Body Wants You to Know, and it's linked below. In the next episode, we're going to look at something much more specific, how blood sugar and metabolic stability influence ovulation and hormone signaling, because this is one of the most common and often overlooked pieces of the puzzle. In closing, I want to leave you with this. Your body isn't broken. Your symptoms aren't random. And fertility doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to support. Take this as an invitation to listen more gently, more compassionately, and more purposefully. Your body is wiser than you think.